Saints. My name is Marianna.
Hi Saints, my name is Jeffrey.
I am Marianna.
I am Bivan Tessie.
Land, gold, stocks, and even real estate are investments to a whole lot of people. Why should you invest your money when you only live once and you also want to obey? And then what happens to the saying that tomorrow takes care of itself? Well, we're going to be answering those questions on this episode of Catholic Faith Forum. I am Marianna, and this is Catholic Faith Forum, brought to you by Dominican Media. I have a guest with me to talk about this topic, but before I introduce you to my guest, let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, you know who he is. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Saints. Yes, you're still watching Catholic Faith Forum, brought to you by Dominican Media. And before I went on that break, I didn't tell you my topic. But my topic for today is investment and the future. So who is my guest for today? My guest for today is a person who is the convener of Expound, a Bible study meeting where the Bible is studied book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. And professionally, he is a learning specialist with almost a decade experience working with top organizations like Phoenix Project by Accelerate TV, London Professional Training Center, Upskill Digital UK, and MoneyPoint, to just mention but a few. He is also a person who holds Masters of Managerial Psychology from the University of Lagos, and he also holds a mini MBA from Lagos Business School. Let's not forget that he's a married man, and he is married to Mrs. Oreolua Ojute. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about Pastor Yomi Ojute, and he's here with me in the studio. Round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me today.
All right, thank you very much. I know you personally, and I know that you carry your work and you carry your wife on your head. How do you manage the two?
I don't know how I do it, but I think really it's about scheduling, prioritizing, identifying things that are important. My wife is important to me. My work is important to me, and my ministry. So it's just a way of balancing them and prioritizing pattern.
Okay, yes. So let's talk about what we're, our focus for today. What is investment?
I was thinking about saying it in a way that the least educated person can actually understand it. And I'm thinking about it. Investment for me is trying to plan for tomorrow, trying to buy tomorrow, today, by sort of purchasing assets or items that you believe would give some level of profit or income later in the future. Okay. So that's really what an investment is.
So we know that there's a saying, just forget about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. What happens to that?
Well, I've heard it so much. Growing up, I've also thought about that. I remember every time we have like maybe 1K and we are so hungry. Yeah. And we really want to don't want to spend everything. I'm like, make our first go chop first. Exactly. Person we don't chop, go. Mm-hmm. But really, you never even know how long you will live. You might live 100 years. Okay. And it means that you have to survive 100 years. So while it's true that tomorrow will take care of itself, but we have a responsibility by God, as somebody who is made in his image, to also be very effective in planning, effective in being responsible, not just for today, but for tomorrow. So that's why it's good, to sort of not just while away today, but also put tomorrow in perspective.
Okay. So will you call these present-day networking schemes an investment?
I think it can be categorized as an investment. I would just say that it would require if due diligence by anybody who wants to participate in it. I have almost invested in networking schemes, but I just think it's too stressful. That's my personal opinion, because sometimes you have to bring 5 people, that bring 10 people, that bring 100 people.
Me, I've lost money, I'll not lie.
You cannot control the entire, equilibrium, so some people that have the energy, that have good networking skills, that have good relationship building skills, can persuade a lot of people. Yeah, maybe it's good for them, but I think the idea behind any form of investment is that you must do due diligence. You must understand the system, you know, before you sort of invest in it. Yes.
Okay. So I want to say this now. People have misconceptions when it comes to investments. You know, people think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. So what will you have to say to them?
Well, get-rich-quick schemes are not things that I would advise anyone. First, from a perspective of faith, you know, and also just wisdom, just common sense. Because anything that you have to get quick is most likely not true. Just think about it. Let's leave money. Anything that you have to really get quick, you know, just imagine somebody wants to be a doctor today. It's not possible. You have to be trained for a good number of years, right, before you qualify as a doctor. And I think that when it comes to the subject of wealth building, it's also the same. So I really don't believe in get quick. You know, personal story, my wife, sometimes last year, she will forgive me for saying this publicly, right? Because I don't do it. So a friend of ours told her about one platform where you buy some dollars and then you keep getting money almost every day. I don't do it. She did it and she kept trying to persuade me, Yomi, do it. I'm like, okay. Then she lost all her money suddenly. And then she came, she was crying. Anyway, I did like this hobby first though, but you know, but the problem is that, and since then she said, I'm not going to get involved in things like that. So get quick schemes are not things that I would advise anybody to do.
Okay, so with many investment options out there, you know, they are available everywhere you go. You see there's real estate, there's gold, buy this, just as you said, buy this, buy dollars and keep, stuff like that. So how do you know which ones are actually beneficial?
Well, first, I would say you need to seek professional advice. There are financial advisors everywhere that can help. I remember wanted to, I think my first real estate investment, before I did it, even I knew the person, I've known the person for like 5 years or more. I had to go and seek opinion of real estate experts to say, hey, this land here, what do you think about it? This document they want to give us, do you think it's something that we should? I think that seeking expert opinion is very important when it comes to any type of investment. And I would say that understand the terrain. You know, if you want, just like you want to start a new business, you don't start a new business just because of passion. You start because you understand the environment. Same thing as the investment. You must understand how it works so that, you know, when you're trying to invest in it, you can sleep at night.
Okay, so is it advisable to invest in just one thing? Like if it's real estate, just invest in real estate. If it's stocks, just stocks. Or it's better to diversify?
Diversification is very important as it helps to, you know, sort of share the risk, because every form of investment has some level of risk. You know, some are very minimal, some are very high, right? So diversifying your investment it helps you to share your risk. You just like what they say, don't put your egg in one basket, right? Yeah. But not in every case. There are some basket. Just sometimes I put your egg in every basket, and a basket can be God. You know, just trying to put that right. You don't have any option apart from God. But I'm saying diversifying your investment can help you to share the risk and can also help you to just helps in financial security as well, you know, and all of that, yes.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for that wonderful one. But we need to go on a break right now. So on this break, you're going to learn more about the Saint of the Week. Don't go anywhere.
This week, we take a look at the life of Saint Andrew, one of the most beloved apostles of Jesus Christ. Known as the first called and the patron saint of Scotland, Russia, and fishermen, Andrew's story is one of humility, courage, and unwavering faith. Let's begin. Andrew was born in Bethsaida, a small fishing village on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, around the 1st century AD. He was the brother of Simon Peter, who would later become the leader of the apostles. Now, like his brother, Andrew was a fisherman by trade, spending his days casting nets into the sea. But his life was about to take a dramatic turn. Andrew was a seeker of truth. He became a disciple of John the Baptist, who was preparing the way for the Messiah, as you know. One day, while listening to John, Andrew witnessed something extraordinary. John pointed to a man walking by and declared, "Behold the Lamb of God." That man, of course you know him now, he was Jesus of Nazareth. Andrew's heart was stirred. He followed Jesus and spent the day with him. Overwhelmed by the encounter, he ran to his brother Simon Peter and exclaimed, "We have found the Messiah." This moment marked the beginning of Andrew's journey as one of Jesus' closest followers. Andrew was among the first disciples called by Jesus, earning him the title Protocletus, or first called. Alongside Peter, James, and John, Andrew left his nets behind to become a fisher of men. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. He witnessed miracles, heard profound teachings, and grew in faith as he walked with the Savior. Andrew played a key role in one of Jesus' most famous miracles, the feeding of the 5,000. When faced with a hungry crowd, it was Andrew who brought forward a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish, saying, "But what are these among so many?" But through Jesus' power, those meager offerings fed 5,000, a testament to Andrew's trust in Christ. I'm sure we know that story. Now, after Jesus' resurrection and ascension, Andrew became a fearless missionary. Tradition holds that he traveled far and wide, spreading the gospel in regions like modern-day Greece, Turkey, and even as far as Russia. He preached with passion, converting many to Christianity. Andrew's unwavering faith eventually led to his martyrdom, sadly. In the city of Patras, Greece, he was sentenced to death by crucifixion. But Andrew, ever humble, felt unworthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. He was crucified on an X-shaped cross, now known as the St. Andrew's Cross. Even in his final moments, he continued to preach, inspiring those around him. Today, St. Andrew is venerated worldwide. He's the patron saint of Scotland, where the St. Andrew's Cross adorns the national flag. He's also the patron of fishermen, reflecting his humble beginnings. His legacy reminds us to answer God's call with courage, to share the gospel with others, and to live with humility and faith. He's the patron saint of fishermen, sailors, singers, and textile workers. He's often invoked for unity among Christians, as he was the first to bring others to Christ. And so we say, St. Andrew, pray for us.
Welcome back, Saints. Yes, you've learned about the Saint of the Week, and I hope you've taken 1 or 2 from them. But now we're still going back into our topic for today, the investment and your future. Investment and the future. Investment and anybody's future in general. So I want to ask this particular question. As Christians, how do we balance the need for financial security with God's providence?
I would say that I think the book of Proverbs, was telling us that we should cast your bread upon many waters. So if you look at that, there's a perspective of God in us being wise enough to plan for tomorrow. However, financial security must not become an idol. An idol is anything that you would hold more esteem, in a more esteemed position than God. So what that means is that while I plan for tomorrow, my most important trust is in God, right? Because even the most secure financial decision fails. I remember one time, the people say that buying stocks is one of the safest, buying shares one of the safest, investment opportunities. But there was a time in Nigeria where stocks fell, and people suffered, people died. To the point is that the only thing that is sure, the Bible tells about God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. His value does not increase or reduce. It's permanently on, a stable God, which means that my most important security must not be in things, must be in a person, and his name is God, right? So that changes everything for me. So I have a responsibility to plan, but my life is not dependent on my plan. It's dependent on God. I think that's the balance that allows us to say, yes, I can plan, but my life is solely on God. There's another perspective where, before you even make financial decisions, you can seek the wisdom of God. Knowing that, let me put it this way, the person who can regard as the expert in financial decisions can fail. He's not omniscient, doesn't know everything. The only person that knows everything is God. Somebody can come today and say, hey, this investment is going to yield 1,000%. Take it to God in prayer, because the person is just giving the analysis based on what he knows. So God controls every other equilibrium. which means that God can say, hey, it's true that it says it's going to bring 1,000% today, but tomorrow it's going to go back to zero, right? So the idea is that even when you're going to make a decision, the Bible says, tell the Lord to bless your plan so that you can successfully carry it out. So seek God's opinion, as the ultimate opinion before making those decisions.
Okay, so are there specific investment options that you would recommend for people at different stages of their life, as youths, as as adults who have families, and also as older people?
Yeah, you're right. So when you're younger, you have a family, you can definitely take as much risk as you can. But once you are married, your appetite for risk has to start reducing. You have to then invest in more stable things, maybe like real estate, maybe stocks, government bonds. And once you are now a father, you're planning retirement. There's no possibility of you wanting to even take any form of risk, right? It's now for you to invest in things that can give you almost immediate income, because you want to leave, you are retired, right? Except if you are thinking about your children's children, because the Bible also says that a good man leaveth inheritance for his children, right? Yeah. So you can also start investing in things that, because you are almost leaving the scene, so you want to leave things for your children and their children's children. So I just think about things like real estate even at that level as well. But the younger you are, you can do almost anything, because, man, you still have many years ahead of you. But once you have a family, your risk appetite has to reduce a little bit.
Okay, so you talked about government bond. Can you explain how that goes?
I would. Okay, so government, every now and then, they have what's it called, opportunity for you to buy. It's just like you are having stake, a lot of that. So sometimes it's 1 year, it's 6 months. But I think that what you do is, maybe after this show, you can reach out to me. I don't want to say a lot of things about that, but yes, they're government bonds.
Okay, so there are a lot of scams when it comes to investment. Even right now, we feel real estate is secure, but sometimes you see people who complain about buying a certain land and then it happens to, and then someone tells you, oh, get this particular stock, this is how it goes. You probably might not have so much understanding about how it goes. So how do we spot these loopholes? What are the things to actually look out for, the red flags?
Pressure. I think number one, if they want you to make an hasty decision, please don't buy it. If they want you to pay today, if you don't pay today, there's a problem with that, right? I don't think that anybody should rush into making any investment. At every point in time, like I said before, seek expert advice. I'm privileged to work in a bank, same as my wife, but we still have to speak to somebody who is more experienced than us, in making those decisions. I would say that always seek expert advice before making any form of investment. If it's going to be like real estate, let them share with you the location, the kind of document you receive. Then when you get the number, seek somebody that knows about real estate, that knows a lawyer, that can also guide, hey, this is what you should do. It will help you to save you. It's better for you to waste time before investing it than wasting money after investing it. Exactly. So that's really my suggestion.
All right, thank you very much. You said very, very important there. Actually seek advice, seek specialists, and people who specialize in the sector that you want to invest in. Seek their advice. You're not alone in this. And at this point in time, we need to go on a break to know more about our faith. Over to you, the KYF crew.
I know you've been told countless times to be grateful. There's even that time of the year when you'll be hearing gratitude here and there. And maybe you are wondering, why should I be grateful when I'm not even getting what I want, when life is unfair to me? Well, stick with me, because in this episode, I'll be sharing 5 very strong reasons for you to practice gratitude. And after this episode, you too will be grateful to me. Hi Saints, I am Elefachi, and I'm so happy to have you in this episode of Know Your Faith, where we'll be talking about gratitude. Now, here are 5 strong reasons to practice gratitude. Number 1, gratitude honors God. The Bible teaches that gratitude is a sure way to honor and worship God. You see that in Psalm 145 and Psalm 50 verse 14. By expressing gratitude, you acknowledge God's goodness and provision in your life. Number 2, gratitude gives you a positive outlook to life. The Bible encourages us to focus on the positive aspect of life and to give thanks in all circumstances.
1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 and Philippians 4 verse 8. By focusing on what you already have, what is lacking begins to fade. Number 3, gratitude promotes humility. The Bible teaches that gratitude promotes humility and recognizes our dependence on God. And this is seen in 1 Corinthians 4 verse 7, Deuteronomy 8, 17 to 18. Now, when we are grateful, we acknowledge that everything we have comes from God. Number 4, gratitude strengthens relationships. Grateful people are pleasant to be around. An ungrateful person causes headache. Expressing gratitude towards others fosters stronger and more loving relationships. Number 5, gratitude brings joy and peace. The Bible promises joy and peace and contentment to those who are grateful. And you see this in Psalm 16 verse 11, Philippians 4, 6 to 7. Now, when you focus on what you're thankful for, you experience greater joy and peace in your life. Gratitude is the best attitude for more. Be grateful for little things. Because grateful people are happy people. Say it with me. Grateful people are happy people. Now, here's a question. Do you have a reason to be grateful? Like, after listening to these 5 reasons, I'm sure you have a reason to be grateful. Yes or no? Leave a comment below. And personally and Dominican Media, we are grateful to have you in our community. My name is Elefachi, and until next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Welcome back, Saints. Yes, thank you very much to the Know Your Faith crew for that beautiful rendition. We're still talking about investment and the future. And I have with me Pastor Yomi Ojute, who has been breaking this down for us. He has told us that don't go and put your money like that, just anyhow, into investment scheme. They will chop your money. They will use Peter's money to pay Paul. That is how all those get-rich-quick schemes actually move. But then we're still having a lot of questions, And when it comes to investments, yes, the parents have to invest, for their future generations. But then we also need to teach children how to invest. So how can we do that, little children?
First is by leading by example in anything you want to do. Second thing is also creating a system that allows them to save. I remember growing up, my mom bought something the Yorubas called Kolo piggy bank.
Yeah.
And every other month, she asks me, my sister and I, hey, how much have you been able to save? So that sort of created the mindset that there's an expectation that I don't need to consume all that I have. So just begin to, as early as they can, you start giving them money. They should also know that they are responsible for how they manage that money. So you must teach them those systems. I also know that right now in schools, those level of financial literacy it's not until you are 20 they start teaching you that. They start take them to good schools that sort of open their mind to financial literacy, and also have conversations letting them know that you're able to do these things for them because you have also invested.
Exactly.
Because every aspect of human life, young people don't learn by what they just hear. They learn by what they see you do. So let them see that there's a system in the house. I say, hey, Daddy, I want to buy something. Sorry, we can't buy it now because we did not budget for it for this season. So have those conversations sort of, help to stimulate, those thoughts in their head. I think that those are the ways that we can start instilling, the idea of planning, investing, for that. So if they say, I want PS5, it's okay. PS5 costs 1 million naira. How much can you save to? So they start knowing that, hey, I don't just get things because I want them. I get things because I plan and invest, in things like that.
In addition, it also creates a sort of financial responsibility. Okay, so it's not a hoax that investment is a risk, and most times it's not a hoax that investment is a risk. You've said it that, okay, as young people, you still have, a sort of liberty to risk it most of the times. But sometimes that can be mentally draining and financially draining also. So how can one get back on their feet after that kind of phase?
Okay, so again, I'm going to use when my wife lost it, because it was quite a lot of money. She lamented, and but the best way to do it just go go through the process. Just like feeling your family. When I failed my first jam, you know, I cried. I probably hid inside the house for a period of time. I was ashamed, you know. But the idea is that I had to live through that, and I understand that, hey, why did I fail my jam? Same thing with, you know, investment. You need to try and understand why that investment failed. Was it your fault, or was it the system? Because sometimes you can get all the equations right, but the system is so wrong, right? Because really, the market, every market is controlled by an economy, right? So it can be global economy. So global economy might even affect your own investment as well. So you just want to identify, is it your fault? Is it something that you should have controlled? So that way you can then pick lessons from there that you can apply in future investments.
Okay, so are there ethical considerations to keep in mind when trying to invest?
Yes, you know, Muslims have ethical, you know, I have a Muslim friend that we know Muslims don't do in any form of interest investment. They call it, it's called, I think, halal funds. You know, so they rather invest in things that don't bring interest, because that's their value.
So what's not the purpose of investing?
They just want to keep their money. You know, so it just shows that if I'm not a Muslim, but sometimes these guys they live more principled lives, whether you like or hate the principles. So I believe that there are ethical considerations when you want to invest. You don't invest in anything that will cause pain on people. Invest based on your personal values. You know, there are people that never invest in alcohol-based organizations because they don't drink alcohol, right? So if that is your value, please, or before you invest, identify, hey, this investment I want to do, what company am I investing in? Do I believe in the values of this company? You know, so there are companies all over the world that they do things that maybe they probably publish pornography. You know, you don't want to invest in that as a believer.
It's not following your values.
The goal for the believer, you know, the Bible says that, you know, if you have the whole world and you lose your soul, what do you gain, right? So you just want to understand that it's not the end. The ultimate goal is not money. The ultimate goal is to please God. So if by investing money I displease God, all I have is money, but I miss the ultimate goal.
Some people are into business. They don't have a steady monthly source of income. Let's say it's not steady. So for people like that who are into business, they can't say, okay, this month, every month in a year, I earn 100,000 naira.
They don't know what they earn, or they don't earn until never.
Okay, let's say they don't have a specific amount that they can pin it on. So how can you actually recommend that a person like that can save up for investments?
Well, I would say that it starts from process of bookkeeping. So by that I mean every business owner should at least have an idea of how much that comes to your company comes. So the amount that comes, income does not mean profit. Income means that this is the inflow. Now, when you get that inflow, you now need to do calculations, expenditure minus inflow, that will now come to give you the profit. Now, out of your profit, you should now say, this is the amount we are going to save. I recommend between 20 to 30%, right? And the remaining part of the money, you can then put it back into the business. Now, out of the savings, out of the 30% or 20% you are saved, you can now say, okay, out of this sum, I'm going to invest a particular percentage. That way, you're not just skipping the money in the bank. You are investing the money for future profit, right? So I think that's the model. First, understand how much comes in, calculate your profit out of that. Out of the profit, how much am I reinvesting in the business? How much am I investing?
Okay, so what is the importance of a will?
It gives everybody peace of mind when you are gone. You know, okay. I truly believe that most of the chaos we have all over the world, especially in this part of the world, is that basically fathers and mothers don't see the intentionality of sort of sorting things out before they leave, you know, because sometimes it just feels like you've wasted your effort when you're here, because you work, but the value of what you've done cannot even be passed to generations before you. So a will is just a statement of direction or instruction that says this is how my investments or my assets should be.
Very, very briefly, there are some parents who see their children as a means of investment. What do you have to say to them?
There's no right or wrong answer to it. I feel that I believe that every parent should leave some level of investment to their children, but children as well should be able to give back, you know, to their parents. So it's a win-win approach. My parents should sort of benefit from their investment in my life, but ultimately a child should also benefit, you know, from their parents. So it's a mix of both.
I hope you've learned a whole lot today about investments and the future, where to put your money, where not to put your money, how to actually manage your money and save up for investments. I want to say a very big thank you to my guest, Pastor Yomi Ojute. Thank you very much. You filled us already with a whole lot of information and you shared wisdom with us. Thank you for joining me on the show.
You're welcome.
Exactly. And to you, my viewers out there, I want to say a very big thank you to you also for watching this video through to the end. And we've come to the end of this episode, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take a leaf from this episode. So make sure you practice what we have taught here and put it into your daily life. And with all of that said, I want to tell you, please follow, like, subscribe, and also share this video with your friends. You never know what they are going to learn from it. Follow us on every social media platform at CFF on TV, and also subscribe to this video. Put your questions in the comment section below and do everything that you need to do right in this life. Till next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.
Action.
Land, gold, money. Land, gold, stocks, and even real estate are investments to a whole lot of people. Why should I invest my money when I only live once? You're asking yourself that question, Abby.